Good morning, everybody. Natalie coming to you live. Spirit and coffee. Got my coffee here. Yum. Oh, Slytherin. And I'm looking for another coffee mug because my beautiful coffee mug happened to get destroyed. I dropped it, shattered into pieces. Talked about what the meaning behind that was. Crazy. Anywho, good morning to those on Facebook. Hi. I'm not going to see you, but you can totally follow me on Instagram if you want to go live and see the comments and stuff like that, or make a comment. I do apologize. I'm trying to stream as much places as possible. So that's why. But hello and good morning. Monday morning, right? Hopefully everybody's feeling good, refreshed, ready for a week. Wonder what everyone is up to. Super Bowl was yesterday. So I go to work and I work at a gym and I only work one day a week. That's not my real job. That's just like my job so that I can actually communicate with people. Otherwise, I'd be at home all day by myself, right? Because of the way that things have changed since this whole pandemic and everything. Everybody's working from home, and I don't have conversations with anybody but maybe my niece sometimes and my mom, my nephew. So work one day a week, but it was completely dead. There was maybe like 4 people in our entire gym. Hello, Baram. Baram, you. How are you? And it was crazy. And it's like crazy how much the Super Bowl, right, is like, it's like I laugh because it's like, it's, I'm good. I hope you're well. Yeah, I am. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's just crazy to me how nobody's showing up to the gym, right? And it's like a holiday for people. Of course, I'm not a follower of sports. I don't, to me, I'm like, whatever. I have other things that I have to focus on. But if you guys watched it, hopefully you guys had a good time. I can say that people love the food for that particular event. And so I'm sure people were enjoying their nachos. I kept seeing nachos everywhere. And I was like, wow, if anything, that's what I wanted was nachos. um, so I see a shift in energy and sort of what's going on. And I'm not sure. Where are you, Baram? And are you being impacted by the pandemic? Hey, Doreen, good morning to you. And I'm kind of seeing that there's a shift now. And it felt really good. It's almost like, I don't know, when this thing first started, right? And everybody was hidden. It was like there was no one. It almost felt like a ghost town where I lived, right? I'm not sure how you guys felt where you lived, but it was weird because it was like, where did everybody go? Like everybody was in their house. It was quiet. No one was on the streets. If you went, it had this eerie feeling. And it almost felt like it was a ghost town. Like there was no one there. Like no one lived there. No one was in their house. That's what it felt like. And then now it's interesting because people are out. There's actually sports being played. Like you see the kids running outside playing their football sports. That's what I saw yesterday. Parents out, everybody's starting to come out. And it's really just a different feeling, right? When you see this like spring of life in people and people are starting to come out. And it almost, for me, just made me appreciate. Good morning, PBG641 LMNOP. And sorry, I like to do those with those PBG 641. And it felt really different. The dynamics felt different. People coming out, people, and I don't know where it's at where you guys are, because I know there's people around the country, different places, and I don't know if things have opened up for you or all the rules are different every single place. So it doesn't even make sense, but it was interesting to feel, right, that shift in energy of individuals and people starting to like almost like rise from their coffins, right? And they do talk about the resurrection and the rising of the dead. And the reality is, people will say, well, they'll look at the Bible, they'll look at all this stuff, and they think that people are literally going to rise from their coffins. the reality is when we talk about this life and death idea, it's really about us resurfacing our soul over and over again. That's why the Phoenix story is so big right now. You know, you see it everywhere, the rise of the Phoenix. You're seeing Phoenix stories all over the place. And those stories of the rise of the Phoenix are about that death and rebirth. How do we die and rebirth ourselves over and over and over again? And that's really what we saw happen. So in that space where we were sort of in that death, right? It was almost like a death. If you saw, it felt like mourning. People were grieving. I mean, and I think people still are, right? There's still some of that residual that's happening. But when I went out, it was like reborn to life. It was a new feeling, a new energy, because everybody had been so, in their own space, hiding out for so long. And now people are starting to rebirth themselves into society. We're starting to see this. People are starting to engage again. And we can keep this theme throughout our life, right? The theme of the Phoenix, the rise and the dead, and rebirthing ourselves over and over and over again. So hopefully during this time, you were able to sort of step out of the conversation of the fear, right? I'm not saying that people didn't have fear, and that's perfectly fine, but hopefully you were able to get past the fear during that time or that period, so that you can start to rebirth yourself and really, really look at yourself and say, what is it within me that I can create, right? Something new that's going to arise. Can I deal with all of the spiritual and emotional issues that are showing up from this particular pandemic? And can then I overcome, right? Good morning, Mel. And use that energy and rise into something new. So hopefully that is what occurred for you. And you're going to start seeing that as things start to open up. It's almost like a blossoming, right, of a flower. It's almost like the spring, right? Because we are heading, well, where we live, we're heading into spring. And we're going to start seeing things bloom, and we're going to start seeing, these baby little flowers come out and say, hi, I'm here. I'm here to grace you with my beauty. They're like, wake up, come out wherever you are. That's what I think of as the Glinda, in the Wizard of Oz, when she's having them come out and they're wiping their eyes, and they're like these little, tiny little creatures coming out. And that's what it is. We're blooming, right? We're re-blooming. So hopefully, and you guys are willing to, if you're willing to share, please tell me what it is that you guys have created during this transition. Have you learned something new? Did you address the issues that may have showed up during this time out? Are you still dealing with them? Are you overcoming them? How are you dealing with them? Are you allowing yourself to engage with it? And are you allowing yourself to sort of go through the process so that you can rebirth yourself into the Phoenix? I mean, that is the theme right now. Look, it's everywhere. It's purposeful, right? It's intentional. The writers, the script writers of all this stuff understand the esoterics and spiritual alchemy. The things that I teach, they understand it. They know it in and out. And that's how come they write these stories, because they understand what is happening at the macrocosm and the microcosm. And when we look at the macrocosm, which is this bigger connection to the web, right? The microcosm being us, the macrocosm being all of the stellar things that are happening, that they understand that we are rebirthing into a new era. It's allowing us to become the Phoenix. And so the Phoenix is this common theme within movies, within everybody's talking about the Phoenix, right? It's everywhere. There was the dark Phoenix. So they're looking at the shadow side of the Phoenix. Now, what does that mean? It means that the divine feminine is re-waking up and rebirthing herself. The sacred feminine is now rising. And within the sacred feminine, because we've lived in such a patriarchal model, almost worldwide, it's not everywhere. There's still matriarchs happening around the world, but the patriarchy has overextended itself. In other words, it's too much extreme on one end. And now the pendulum's starting to swing the other direction. Here is the trick. The trick is balance, that we have not too much patriarchy, not too much matriarchy, but that we find that middle balance. And how do we do that? We find it within ourselves. And how do we find it within ourselves? We find it within ourselves by recognizing, going into that spiritual perspective and recognizing that we are the phoenix arising into something new. We're rebirthing ourselves into something new. So hopefully this whole entire process that we went through as an entire world, okay, you've got to think about this is worldwide. That's why it's a microcosmic thing. It's not just, oh, in the US or just in China or just in India, right, or Russia. It's everywhere. Every single country, every continent, the entire world, planet that we know, right, except for probably the people that are still untouched, like these native tribes. I think there's still tribes, hopefully, that have not even been touched by society. And those tribes themselves have their own myth stories and understand that we are headed into a new era. It's everywhere. So the rise of the phoenix is us re-arising into the era of Aquarius, which Aquarius is the age of technology and information and all that stuff. And we can see it. We're in the era of technology. I'm streaming in 5 different places at this one moment in time. You can see me here. You can see me on Facebook. You can hear me on Podbean. This will get broadcasted out to different places. That's technology. We're in the era of technology. Hey, Kengo. So you got to understand that we're in the age of, and we have risen. And hopefully, my hope is, and the reason I was doing these a long time ago too, because I kept telling people, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's coming. Wake up, wake up. Is that you tapped into that essence of who you are. You dug a little bit deeper into the meaning, and that now you have re-arose as anew. It's the resurrection. That is the resurrection, right? People are like, I'm waiting in the sky for something to come get me. That's not how it's going to happen. And if it does, well, awesome. I'm ready. But you got to resurrect within yourself, right? The resurrection is saying, how do I recreate and rebirth my life in this new era? Okay, it's not, things aren't going to go back to the way they were. Things are going to look vastly different. They're going to continue to evolve. Why? Because things change. Things don't stay the same. We know this, right? This is part of, that's the constant. The only constant in this world is change. That's the one thing we know. Things don't stay the same. So they're not going to. And we're at this place where things are starting to change, and it's scary. It's scary for a lot of people. I even had to go through my process, and I know this work in and out, and I practice it daily. Every single day of every single moment, I'm practicing alchemy, spiritual alchemy. And even in that, there was this sense of fear that overcame, right? That I was like, whoa, I don't know what's going to happen. It was this unknown, and I had to learn to surrender. So I too had to go through the process of understanding, where do I exist within this spiritual direction? What's going on for me? How can I tap into me and understand what is going on and what my place is in all this? And if you looked at the dialogue, that there was a lot of dialogue trying to hold on to the old, and it's just not going to be. And that's okay. It's good to wash it away so that we can recreate something new. So we're in a space of creating our foundations. I've talked about that throughout this journey. Really setting our spiritual foundations, grounding ourselves with the pillars of what we will and will not compromise, setting our boundaries, right? Understanding who we are as an individual, being authentic with the stuff that comes up for us. So again, the whole process, this was in a way, when you think about it, is a beautiful process for everybody to really understand the power of spiritual alchemy as an entire world. Spiritual alchemy it's nature. It is what it is, right? We want to change the outcome, and you can live in some sort of fantasy world, or you can say, I see what's real for me and know what's real for me, and I understand how to apply it, right, practically into your life. Because again, we are in a 3-dimensional time space. Now, Is there a way out of it? Yeah, we can get deeper into those talks. But keeping it in the real three-dimensional time space that we understand, we are in the resurrection. Okay? And that's what we see happening. As we transition into sort of what feels like a new normal for us, we're going to see the rise of that energy. So watch out for it. Be inspired by it. Be touched by it, because that's the rebirth. That's the resurrection. That's people coming out of their coffins. We've been, in our coffins for almost 9 months. It's almost like a baby, right? My friend brought that up to my attention. She's like, when you think about it, the birth and the rebirth of a child, right? The death was like cut everything off, and then there was this grieving process, and then everybody incubated, and it's been a little over 9 months, but things were starting to open up after 9 months, and so now we're babies into this new era. It's like we've rebirthed into the new era. Okay. Good morning, Apple of God's Eye. Oh, that's cute. Good morning, Minnie. Apple of God's Eye, like that. They look like two little apples. We got a green apple and a red apple. So again, we're rebirthing, and it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful that we're rebirthing back into, or resurrecting into this new thing. So what have you rebirthed yourself into? When you were in incubation, what were you incubating? What were you focusing on? Right? We were seeding new ideas. It was an opportunity to seed new ways of thinking and engaging in the world, understanding the world, being in the world, understanding who we were, because there's still the opportunity to remember who you are. It's not completely done, right? But everybody has a chance to resurrect. Everybody has a chance to tap into who they are. Good morning, Tanvir. Mm-hmm. To tap into who they are as a beautiful soul, and remember that you are, right, a child of God. You are a part of God. You're a part of all of it. It's not that someone's more special or more this or more that. No, it's who chooses to recognize it, who chooses to be with it, who chooses to practice it. And that's it. It's just a choice. And some will make the choice daily or monthly, or they'll just be like, well, I'll make the choice tomorrow, or whatever it is for them. But you still have a chance to remember who you are and rebirth yourself. There's still a little bit of time. I think we're going to be in timeout a little bit longer. I don't know. At least I know there's other places that are open here where I live. They're giving us, I think, more incubation time. That's what I had called the entire process. Like we're incubating, right, into this new thing. And as we incubate, that we focus on the things that we love, so that we can resurrect into something new. That is the great resurrection. So just be with it, right? Think about it and ask yourself, am I resurrecting, or am I still grieving the process? Right? There could be some grieving, and some feeling of death or disconnect can still be there, that residual, as we've gone through the process. And if you see, and it's funny, I do these videos too, because I'm human, right? We're all human. And I have my ideas and my opinions and stuff, but you can see that I go through the alchemic process through every part of it, from the beginning all the way till the end. And the beginning, I had my viewpoints about it. I had my ideas and I spoke about it. I communicated authentically. But does that mean that I stuck to the way that I thought about it from the beginning? No, it evolved over time. The way that I engaged it, because I had to go through a process just like you did. So you've gone through this process, and you're probably continuing to go through the process. So my question to you is, are you being mindful of the process you're going through? Are you being mindful of the experiences you're having through this process? And if you're being mindful, what have you created to resurrect as we open up, right? As we start to crack out of our shells, or as we rise from the ashes as the phoenix? Have you risen in shadow, or have you risen in light? The shadow side of the phoenix is destructive, right? Complete destruction. I don't know if you guys have seen movies about it. They even have movies about it to explain what that means in alchemy. The rise of the phoenix, and when the phoenix is risen in the shadow, it devours everything that's in its path. It doesn't have a focus. It's not saying I'm trying to get you. It'll destroy anything and everything. The light side, right, of the phoenix is being the calm in the storm. Knowing that you can control the calmness within your heart while the storm is being devoured around you, and understanding that you can hold your place of peace while this storm starts to cloud around you. You become maybe the eye of the storm in some ways, where you see destruction, but you can find refuge. Okay? Shall I talk to you? Perhaps in a little bit. If I do let the viewers go on my Facebook Live and Instagram Live, then yes. I want them to be able to hear a conversation if somebody calls in. So rise of the phoenix, resurrection into the new. We're resurrecting into the age of Aquarius. And hopefully this time that you've been given, because some people may not have saw it as a gift, but it was a timeout gift, right? To utilize that time that was given to resurrect. I meant to say here on podcasts. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. You mean like calling in on the podcast. Yes. And I stream live on Facebook and Instagram at the same exact time that I do the podcast. So people wouldn't be able to hear you, is what I'm saying. And I don't mind if I let them go and you're still on and you want to call in doing that. I've had two call-ins that were jokers. They were the tricksters. They didn't want to be called trolls that called in. And perhaps one day a coaching session online or just taking calls in. And so there you have it. I think I'm going to make these probably shorter and shorter daily instead of like 30 minutes. I typically do about 30 minutes and then it's done. But I think I'm going to start doing maybe 10, 15 minutes and then building my courses. The courses aren't really deep spiritual alchemic work, but they're going to be very like, how do I create more time for myself? We have the same 24 hours, but I can help people to create more time and space in their day. And understand how to do that, how to work with time. Time is a tricky thing for some people. How do we create more of it? Well, I can show you, right? And that's kind of what the course is. And it's very basic, but anyone can do it. It's practical. Remember, this is practical use of esoteric wisdom, not esoteric wisdom and then, ooh, it's a mystery and how do we do it? And we have to do all these. No, it's practical. Life is practical. People try to hide it to make it sound like it's this mystical hidden thing. But the reality is it's a practical process. And if you apply the process, it works. It's really, and it's simple, but hard. It's simple in that the process sounds simple. It's hard in that you have to actually do it. And when you do it, it's not as easy as it sounds, basically. It's how it works. But once you apply it and you get good at it and master it, becomes easy, right? That's the problem, mastering the process. How do I master the process? Becomes your process, not mine, yours. Okay. So there you have it. So yeah, I mean, if you want to call in, I'll go ahead and let these people go. I'll wait and see if you guys are going to call in, but give me a minute so I can end it. So I'll say goodbye to those on the Instagram and on the Facebook. Love you guys so much. Whoever's on Facebook. Sorry, I couldn't say good morning to you. Maybe Betty's on here. Maybe I'll just write a list of names and say good morning to those people, even if they don't show up. At least I'm saying good morning to them. So that energy's maybe out there anyway. All right. So have a great day. Those of you on Facebook and Instagram, I'll stay a little bit longer on Podbean if you do want to call in. Okay. I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye. So I'm here still on Podbean. And uh, if you would like to call in, you're more than welcome. You could call in. So I'm going to take, I think maybe this is what I'll do. Let's see what happens. Okay, we're going to connect. Hello.
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, ma'am. How about you, ma'am?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Uh, Actually, I'm from India, ma'am.
Oh, beautiful. What part of India?
You are also, ma'am.
Pardon me?
You are also from India.
I'm not from India, but what part are you from?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
What part of
Actually,
India
daily,
are you from?
what's that? Hello,
Hello, can you hear me?
can you tell me the? Okay, ma'am. Yeah,
Okay.
am I
What part of
audible there?
uh,
Am I audible there?
No, I'm sorry. Come again?
Am Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, I want to understand what the topic here
What the topic here is.
in
Okay.
the
And first I want to know what part of India you're from. Where in India are you?
Karnataka में.
Karnataka?
हाँ, Bangalore.
Bangalore?
Yeah,
Ah, Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Okay, so I did actually live in Bangalore for 1 year.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yes,
Where,
yes.
ma'am?
And Koramangala is where I stood.
Kormangala. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And then I now and then I went back and to visit my friends. So I love India. It's one of my favorite places, by the
Okay.
way. So this
Okay.
podcast is about using esoteric wisdom and sort of the process
Okay.
of spiritual alchemy and how that's used. But tell
Okay.
me, what is your? Are you Hindu? Are you Muslim? Are you?
Muslim. Muslim, ma'am.
You're Muslim. Awesome.
Mus-
Yeah.
yeah.
So we talk about sort of spiritual practices, and the spiritual practices are pulled from many different religious sectors. It's
Yeah.
not just one way.
I'm very interested in spirituality and doing meditation daily.
Awesome. What type of meditation are you doing?
Uh, it means I'm finding myself daily half an hour.
Awesome. There's a great place. Have you been ever been to the Mahabodhi?
Ah, Mahabodhi.
Yeah, the Mahabodhi
I
in
didn't get it.
Bangalore.
Mahabodhi in Bangalore. No, ma'am. Actually, I didn't hear name, ma'am.
So
Hello.
Mahabodhi is hello. Mahabodhi is in India.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And Mahabodhi, you could do meditation there with the monks if you want to. They open it up, or you
Ah,
could just meditate by yourself there. It's a
yeah.
really I like the temple there because it's quiet and peaceful. Um,
Yeah.
and they also have some a bookstore there that they sell these books that are um,
Actually, I'm doing here in park.
you're doing it.
I'm doing daily in the park.
Oh, in the park.
Daily
Okay.
half an hour. Yeah, in the morning, daily half an hour I'm doing here.
Ah. Uh-huh.
Actually, this podcast, in which country you are going to having this podcast?
What country do I live?
Yeah,
I live in the United States.
United States. Yeah,
Yes.
my cousins also there in Chicago, ma'am.
Oh, in Chicago. Yes, it's a beautiful place,
in
Chicago. I did
Chicago.
some yes, I did
And my
research.
brother
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
is in Canada, man, Toronto.
Oh, okay, in Canada. Beautiful.
Uh,
Yes, Chicago is very beautiful. Very cold in the winter. But I've done research out there in the neuroscience lab in UIC. And so, a beautiful place. If you ever have a chance to go, I highly recommend going. Have you left India?
no, man. Actually,
No.
I'm planning here.
Oh, good, good. Yes, it's a long flight. So, just know that you're going to be very
Actually,
tired.
I'm a math teacher. I
Oh,
done a
okay.
master in mathematics.
Oh, nice. Okay. So I recently did a workshop with some of the faculty at a college out there for a friend, and I'm going to be working with some of the colleges out there as well. So
Which
really,
topic?
and I don't remember the name. I should probably let me pull it up. See if I can pull it up and tell you what it was or what it is. Um, but my friend Prashant is a faculty as well, which is nice.
In college.
In college. Yes. Are you teach college?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm EPU, 11th and 12th. I'm doing here. Actually, I'm planning to study PhD in abroad.
Awesome. Yes, and it's Clare College. That's where I did the workshop. Clare College.
Ah,
Yes. Ah, very good. And then I went to Christ College out there and studied out there. Christ College.
oh, really?
Yeah, out there.
Yeah.
Very good. So tell me.
Actually, I want to share some spirituality about how to meditate and
Yes.
mine experience what I'm daily um, doing the meditation. Can you tell me the timings about this show?
The timings of the show. Typically, I do it around this time, so like 7:30 Mountain Standard Time here in America, which is morning. It
In
would be
India,
about 7:30 p.m. your time, about that
PM,
time. Yeah,
PM.
yeah,
Yeah,
p.m. Yeah, we're 12-hour difference.
12 hours difference.
Yes, yes, yes. And tell me, your meditation. What else are you trying to do spiritually?
Okay, actually, I'm just little bit busy right now. I'm joining daily here. Uh, Can I share tomorrow
Yes.
at this time?
Yes, yes. You want to come on tomorrow and share what you're doing?
Huh?
You want to come on
Hello?
tomorrow? You want to come tomorrow and share?
Yeah,
Ah, very
yeah.
good.
Tomorrow, no.
Tomorrow. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Uh, Not no, ma'am.
Do you have any
What's your
questions?
name, ma'am?
Pardon me?
What's your name?
My name? My name is Natalie.
What?
Natalie?
Narrowly.
Yeah, Natalie?
Narrowly, and yeah. Okay. Okay,
Yes.
narrowly, ma'am. I
Okay.
will can we talk tomorrow onwards?
Yes.
Just I want to share my experience about what I'm doing daily life, spirituality like meditation uh, and daily life about health.
Yes. Very good. You can share.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. I'm just
Okay.
now. I'm just busy right now.
Oh, okay,
I will
okay.
call you tomorrow.
Ah,
I will join tomorrow this time.
okay. Okay. Sounds good. You have a great evening. Bless you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Have a nice day, ma'am.
You as well. Okay, so anybody else wants to call in is welcome to call in. We should try to do some coaching, but I did live in Bangalore, India for a long time, and love India. So for those of you who don't know, India is probably one of the most beautiful places, cultures. People are just so kind and beautiful, and I have some of my most dear friends that are still from India. Um, and it's really cool because it's like a goulash of religion. So you have Hindus and Muslims and Buddhists and um, Christians, and it's all kind of like mixed in together. And so it's like people will go to meditation and yoga, and there's not this like, well, one's better than this or that or the other, and so you can sort of engage in different things. But highly recommend that if you do go to India and you are into Buddhism or meditation, good morning, Tammy, that you visit the Mahabodhi. They have these. They've taken the Pali text of um, the Buddhist teachings, and they've retranslated them into all other languages. And so I have some of the books from the Mahabodhi. And then again, my friend who lives really near there is sending me the Lotus Sutra, which is sutra is strategies. So the strategies of the lotus, which we sort of are coming into the lotus blooming. So pretty excited. But if you guys want to call in, I'll wait a little bit longer, see if anybody else calls in. Um, Thinking about maybe doing a shorter version on I'm trying to change it up a bit on the Facebook and the lives, and then maybe taking some callers for coaching. If you guys want to, you guys have something coming up for you, we can explore if you're brave enough to put yourself out there. It does take a brave soul because these conversations can get really deep. The questions can be deep. Hey, Poetic, how are you? And so they can be deep, but really trying to say if you want to call in and do some exploring, please do so. And I will take, callers. I'm going to try to do that. Yeah, I think I got a little bit of, I woke up early enough. Yay. So yeah, Poetic, you guys sort of like Lingalanga, which gets on here every once in a while. Poetic, you guys have like this little community. It's really cute. I love your guys' community. You guys are fun. Will, who now I follow on Instagram, and his beautiful karaoke that he puts up and whatnot. But it made me think like, yeah, um, it's really amazing to have people call in. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's have Laura call in. Let's see what happens here. Let's see. Good morning, Laura.
Hello, hiya, morning. Good morning, good afternoon, actually. If you
Good
get to me.
afternoon.
Yeah, from Wales, actually. Well, I'm in Cardiff, in Wales. I've just found you kind of randomly on the Podbean app, but
Oh,
I I am interested in meditation and kind
oh,
of spiritual things.
uh-huh.
There's a lot going on with me at the moment, which I won't bore you with. I won't bore people with. But yeah, just thought I'd say hello. Really.
Hi. And it wouldn't be boring. Tell me something that's going on.
Okay. Again, I don't want to bring everybody down. My dad. I'm in my 40s. My dad is in his 80s, and he's very ill. He's been taken into hospital today,
Mm,
actually,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
which is a which is a shame. But also, they're looking after him, so that's a good thing. Um, and I suppose on the spiritual side, I've I've always done it, but especially through the pandemic, I've been able to do some meditation and do
mm,
this kind of thing to help myself, because I do find it difficult, like a lot of people, I suppose.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think I really do see the value in it if if that helps. I mean, I've been doing it since about 1986. To be honest, I'm an old gal, but old transgender gal that I am. But yeah, just to say, I guess this kind of thing that you do, that the kind of broadcasts and that, yeah, is a good idea.
Yes, and here to help people. And I've never taken callers, and this is something new. I've been wanting to, and I'm pretty slow moving at certain things. Sometimes
Oh
I'm a
wow!
Taurus. I'm a bull, so sometimes I'm
All
just a
right.
little bit
Is
slower
this
than
like?
most.
Is this? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't call into podcasts either.
Oh,
I just saw it on my phone. It just I was listening to something else.
oh,
So it's
well,
maybe random, but maybe
serendipitous.
serendipitous. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you called in, and so yeah, and don't dismiss it. Really, my podcast, it can get deep. If I coached people on here or went through the process with people, um, people that follow me know that the hard times are the important times, and we're really going
Mm,
through a shadow time right now.
it it
And
it
it's
it
they
it
call
does
it
feel
the dark
difficult.
night of the soul, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it is.
Oh, I
And
know.
there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with feeling that heaviness,
No,
because everybody is, right, at this
it's
point.
it's it's pretty tough. Although I can say that my dad has had a vaccine. He's had his first dose, his first jab, as we say around here, and my mum has got her jab next week on like Thursday, I think. So it's just nice that the vaccines are coming around and people are starting to get done. Really, I should be done by about April May time, I think myself, but just excuse me, just that kind of thing, really. Just like how can we go along with
Hmm.
positive steps, I think.
Sure. So really, in a coaching session, it would be like, well, thinking about what would you do? What are the steps that you'll take? You're going through something hard. And typically what happens with most spiritual guides or whatnot is, or people or counselors, they might give you sort of an idea of what to do. I don't operate that way.
Mm,
You have the wisdom within you. And sometimes we just need a powerful question to sort of guide us through the process, right? So
yeah,
if you were looking at yourself of, and how do you heal or how do you get through it? Well, you found a practice of meditation, and that's beautiful,
oh,
right? That's helping
thanks,
you
yeah,
sort of maneuver through these hard times that you're going through. But there could be something else there for you too, right? There could be another process or something else that might entice you to
yeah,
sort of feel like that the weight is sort of
yeah.
being lifted off. And what would that look like for you? How would that feel?
Difficult to say. What would help? I mean, especially because I'm lucky that I have friends from before these crazy times, and we all keep in touch with each other. And I think that that kind of human connection is a very important thing. I think maybe sometimes, yeah, taking the time to just step away from stuff. I do sometimes find it hard to step away from social media, for instance, because it's sort of my job. It's again, I'm lucky that I've got I've got a job which is involved with communications and social media and stuff like that, and it's not affected by the pandemic. In fact, I'm even more busy because of the pandemic, which is great because I understand that a lot of people have lost the livelihoods, or had it pulled down. That's that's not me, but whatever kind of situation we're all in, it's all a bit different, and it's all a bit tough all around. What would I do? I'm not sure actually. Sometimes I
Mhm.
have thought about. I I wasn't brought up in organized religion, even though I used to live across the road from a church, from a Christian church. But that doesn't really appeal to me. It doesn't feel like me. I think some of these things about Buddhism, um, and from where I am, more Eastern philosophies, sound like quite a good way to look at things, and that's as far as I get, really.
Okay. So you sound so basically what happens is when we are unclear, especially if I ask a question and someone's like, I don't know,
Mm.
that means that there's not clarity. And the clearer we become, the easier it becomes for us to have a process or a practice to support us through the hard times in life, right? So be with it. It doesn't mean that you have to have an answer right this moment,
Yeah.
but be with
Okay.
that. Be with the
That's good.
question of how do I support myself? There's a couple of things that I heard in your language, and it sounds like gratitude is something that's important to you, like having that gratitude, that being thankful, having and then having connection with people.
Yeah, yeah, I am. I've worked that out myself. I'm definitely grateful for the things that I have and connections and people that I have. That is a good thing. Yeah. Okay.
That's beautiful, actually, for you to recognize the to be grateful in a space where some people can't find that gratitude. Right? They're like looking or searching for it, and there's something that I live by. I call it the secret sauce of life: forgiveness, gratitude, and love. And if you could live by
Mm.
those three things, that your life would be richer, right? More robust. But it's not an easy practice for some, right? Some people, it's really hard to see the silver lining in a situation that may be complex like
Oh
this.
God, yeah.
Yeah. So you have gratitude. So that's a good thing. I mean, you're able to tap into your heart and you're able to drop in there, right? And it's just being able to drop a little bit deeper, right? So you can ask yourself, where am I feeling all of this? And I do a lot of somatic training with my coaches, somatic training being body work and looking at how does your body, right? If you thought about your body and where do you feel this energy, right? What does it feel like in the body? How do you feel it? Where are you feeling it? Right? And sometimes those questions people don't know, but you can write those questions out and say, where do I feel this? What does it feel like? If I could put a word to that feeling and sensation, what would I call it?
Yeah, that's well, I think I'd have to practice
It's deep, right?
that kind of thing.
It is, and it's deep work. But why don't you just write that down? I'm going to give you
Mm,
homework.
mm,
We'll call
mm.
this a short little coaching session. Your homework is
Good idea.
to ask yourself that. Where do I feel it? What does it feel like? What's the physical sensation in my body when I think about my father and everything that he's going through? Like, I'm grateful he has the support, but on the other end, I still feel like what? Something's still there, something's
Yeah,
still stopping you, right?
yeah,
And really, really understanding where you're feeling that in your body. Where? What does it feel like? Is there grief there? Is there fear? Is there, and how is it showing up for you?
yeah. Um, all good points. How does it? It does. I mean, to be honest, it's I do have sessions with a counselor as well,
Mhm.
which I've been doing because of my transgender stuff and because of the
Mhm.
transition which I'm going
Mhm.
through.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I know sometimes we talk about like it's what we call pre-grieving almost because my my dad has basically been taken by Alzheimer's disease.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to get too
Mm-hmm.
heavy and too bloody, difficult. Like,
Mm-hmm. And
um,
do you fear that he's not going to remember who you are as you make a transition?
well, yeah, that is one part of it. One
Mm-hmm.
part of it is just that the mental side of that disease. It basically. Oh, sorry. I might get a bit emotional here because it's quite
Mm-hmm.
personal. Um, but just to say that it's sort of it's like he's gone already,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
a thing which is quite tough to deal with. He does still remember me. He does still know who I am and that kind of thing. But it's he's not the man he was. He was a very tough guy. He was a merchant seaman. He used to work on oil tankers around the world in the 60s. Um, very very kind of storied life, I think, before he met my mum. And when he met my mum, then he had a good job. He was in charge of electrical machinery, basically, in a factory, which he did for years. Um, you know, I had a good upbringing, sort of thing. There was there was never this kind of problem. So now that he's gone so ill and so old and
Mm.
sorry.
Oh, don't be
Yeah,
sorry.
Excuse my language. Sorry, shit. But
Mm-hmm.
it's it is it's a pity which this has come to. But I also had this thing in my head about like what I call the life ahead, which is once he's gone, once these difficulties are over, because I think they will be maybe in the next couple of months.
Mm.
To just be able to take myself on and carry on and live my life, sort of, as best I can, but not as best I can, as in a um, negative way. Trying to do it right. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. Sorry, I'm really rambling, and I know I'm using you as a sounding board, maybe, and I apologize for that. If if people are listening, if people are going through hard times, I hope that helps as well. But that's it. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you're not rambling. So don't dismiss yourself. That's part of this. So part of spiritual alchemy is not dismissing those parts of ourselves because society, right? In a lot of societies, not all, we dismiss it and say, "Oh, I'm a burden, I'm a this, I'm a that." And then what ends up happening is that we stuff it down and we don't have a space to let it out.
Yeah.
Right? And it's really because we're afraid that others are uncomfortable of our pain. I've had loss in my life. I'm not
Hmm.
uncomfortable. That's part of
Yeah.
my job, right? And what I do as a coach, especially from this perspective, that yes, I can be a soundboard. Yes, I can listen. I do talk a lot on my podcasts, but I do listen when I'm a coach. I listen. That's what I'm here to do. And so it sounds to me like you're sort of going through this pre-grieving process, right? You're
Yeah.
grieving maybe perhaps through the transition, an old part of yourself that you're letting go of or saying goodbye to. I mean, there's a lot going on for you. You have a
Yeah.
lot going on. Yeah, all at
Yeah.
once.
There is. There
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. It's a lot.
I'm a case study.
You
Yeah.
know, well, we all are. Let's just be honest. All of us are. There's nobody who escapes it, right?
Mm,
And that's the thing. Everybody has a story. And so for you, I would say is really look at the grieving process. You're going through sort of this double. I feel like it's a double grieving process. It's not just one, it's two, right? And it's sort of this part of yourself that you're feeling like it's coming to a close, right? And if you think about it, it's sort of the exit of the masculine energy in some ways, right? Because
Yeah.
you're sort of like looking at this masculine energy, and it's sort of like almost a final, right? So you probably look to your father, I'm assuming, as this powerful masculine energy in your life. That's
Yes, because oh wow, sorry, but actually that's quite a deep thing which I hadn't heard. You know, sometimes it takes talking to somebody that you don't know or you don't have a relationship with to get these different insights, and I I think that's I think that's really good actually.
well, that's what I do as a coach. Well, that's what I do as a coach. I'm here to listen. So what I would say here's what I'm going to suggest for you if you're open to it.
Mm, mm,
Write yourself a letter to the sacred masculine. How has
yeah.
it been there for you? How has it not been there for you? How is it, letting this part of yourself, it's not that it's gone forever, but it feels like there's a grieving there, is to, write a letter or be with it. You can come up with the practice that you want to. Really digging deeper into that, grieving process. Maybe you feel like you have to let it go, but maybe you don't, right? You're not going to. We all have this feminine, masculine within us. All of us do. And
Mm,
so maybe there's a feeling of it's exiting my life, but it's not really, right? What are the pieces you're going to hold on to? What are
yeah.
the pieces you're going to keep for yourself? That kind of thing.
That's that yeah. I can understand that. That's actually that's quite a good thing. Yeah, because like I said, I mean, I'm in my 40s. I'm in my late 40s. I'm almost 50, basically, and the guy has kept me going for years, sort of thing. David got to Laura, sort of thing. You know, and there's something about not wanting to completely shut that off, shut that part of me off anymore. It's like, well, no, he's there, he was always there. And he was a good guy, but it does feel different. Again, I know I'm doing it. I know people tell me not to apologize and stuff, but I just feel like I'm talking on and on and on. But anyway, thanks for that, because I found that quite helpful. Yeah.
Well, you're welcome. And hopefully you'll explore it. And if it's not a letter, maybe a time capsule, or, these are the parts that I'm closing off, but here's the new me. It's kind of like this. So I don't know if Bahram's still on here. I want to read what he said, and please stay on, Laura, don't leave yet. It says, and what you were talking earlier about the new normal and rebirth into the new era, do you think this is a natural thing, or is it being pushed by humans? Also, if we don't agree or want to be a part of the new era, believe it is evil, has some veils or contradictions or beliefs. Okay, so first of all, with talking with you, it's the death and rebirth always happens. Right now, even in your story, we're talking about death and rebirth, right?
Mm,
It's
mm,
sort of the passing of.
literally.
So and that's the thing, is nobody teaches us how to do that. They don't teach us how to grieve, process the grieving, and then get through it and then rebirth ourselves into something new, which is what I was talking about earlier, the rise of the phoenix, right? That's the phoenix. We allow the ashes to burn, and then we re-rise into our new power. So it's almost like you're a ceremony of letting go of your masculine, and you're not letting go of the masculine completely, but you're rising into the phoenix of Laura, right? You're like re-rising from the ashes as Laura, as this powerful being, right? That is the death and the rebirth that I'm talking about. And it happens with everybody, and it's part of natural law. It happens. It's not something we made up by humans. We can see it in nature, right? I didn't make up nature. Nobody made up nature. It was already here. And we see it in, I would say, in the divine, right? Divine, God's divine glory. When we look at life itself, it's death and rebirth. That's the way the world works. We die as humans. We're not going to be here forever. We die and we rebirth. We just don't know how to go through the process because it's been sort of cut off for some reason. Okay, so the death and rebirth, you can look at it that way. And like I said, you're going through, what I hear, at least from the tiny bit of time that you're going through 2 grieving processes at once. And so it's really honoring that, right? How do we honor that? How do we do a ceremony? Do we, and each person has their own practice into that step. So your practice, Laura, is going to be different than the way I would do it, right? But finding that thing that's going to help you rebirth yourself, okay, into something new.
That's, yeah, that is that. That is really good. You know, I don't have much more deep to say about it, but that
Right.
makes a lot of sense. You know?
Yeah, and that's because you're at a point where you're trying to find clarity. When you find clarity, you'll have more to say. So I would say really
That's true.
seek that, really seek that, really seek that. Be with it. There's nothing wrong. And the whole sorry part, that's a whole nother coaching session. That would be a whole, that comes with that's where the, the masculine side of me comes out and says,
Yeah.
and that's a whole other story. But right now, what matters most from everything that you've said is that you get to heal around this, and that you get to be with it, and that you get to realize that everybody goes through these processes. You're not alone. You're not the only person going through something this major. We all are. All of us. Every human. And in
Oh yeah.
Buddhism, and in
Yeah.
Buddhism, right? The first thing is there is suffering. Nobody escapes
I
the suffering of the 3D dimensional time space. Nobody. I don't care who you are. The president, I don't care. You're the Dalai Lama, the anybody you can name. They're all go through suffering. Nobody escapes it. Nobody. So you're not
that's
alone.
that's good.
You're not alone.
I know. That's
Um,
really good.
and I appreciate you. I just want to say thank you for trusting me. Thank you for you
That's
know
okay.
sharing your story. And I'm doing these maybe coaching sessions to hopefully, like you said, maybe help other individuals realize it is a deep podcast. This podcast isn't for, it's not very surface level. And then people get on and talk to me, it's going to get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper because you can't, you have to go through it. You have to go through the dark
Yeah.
in order to get to the light. You have to go
To,
through it.
to,
You have
exactly. You.
to.
That's very true. Hang on. Sorry. I am walking down some stairs
That's
at the
okay.
moment where I live, but yeah, no. That's that's great. I I shall I shall leave you go, and I'll keep listening, and I'll, if whoever else wants to call in and stuff, I shall carry on and listen to them for a bit. For
Yes. And you can always email me at spiritandbrew@gmail.com if you
uh,
want my insight.
yeah,
Thank you so much. And I'm praying for you, and I'm praying for your father. And lots of love and light and kindness.
yeah. Thank
And
you, thank you very much. Actually,
oh, you're
that's
welcome.
you
You're
know,
welcome.
Okay. I shall cut off. I'm not sure how to cut off on my
I can
phone.
do it.
Okay.
You have a
Okay.
beautiful day, Laura.
Okay. Thank you. Cut me off and carry on.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Goodbye.
Well, that was beautiful. Having someone brave to call in. Hopefully, you guys out there listening support. I wanted, if I don't know if Bahram is still on here, I want to just talk about something else. What if you don't want to agree or want to be a part of the new era, believe that has some fails? So there's a couple of things that contradict your beliefs. I understand that completely if you're still on here, but I'm going to speak to it real quick before I cut this session off, because there so there's a couple of things happening in terms of when we look at the paradigm shifts that are happening in the world. There's sort of this it's going from sort of this black and white dualistic into kind of holism, into integral sort of way of thinking of the world. And we sort of then see world systems or natural systems coming in. So the paradigms are sort of shifting. In other words, the way that we view the world is sort of shifting because of technology, because of the things that we have. Now, the new world that we see, the technological age, we use it. We're engaged in it. This Podbean itself is part of the technical era. Now, I feel, and this is kind of sort of, I don't want to say prophecy, but how I see the world might actually transition is that you'll see a separation between the way people want to live their lives, that perhaps people fully step into the digital era and some people go back to the way of the land. And what's right, wrong, good, or bad is really based on your own beliefs and systems. What storyline do you want to follow? Remember, this is all, we've created all of this story. None of it is real. We've created it. We've created it to be real. So we get to choose. And so you get to choose what's true to your heart. That's what the point is here. Who are you and where do you fit into this? How do you want to engage it? If you don't want this because it doesn't feel right to your heart, then what does? And tap into that. So remembering that, right? And I just want to say thanks to the people that did call in. If things get very heavy here, understand that we're in it together. I'm here to support you guys really through the shadow times. We're in a shadow time. People are going through the shadow, and that's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of because we've all gone through it. We're all going through it together. So I'm here for you guys. I just want you guys to understand that. I'm at work. I can't call in. Sorry. Okay, another time. Yes, Bahram, please. I would love for you to call in just to kind of talk about what's going on. Anybody. So I'm going to try to do my sessions live a little shorter and give a little bit more attention to people calling in. You guys, I'm also a life coach, and really, I don't just babble on my coaching sessions. I just do this on my podcast, which are kind of funny. I laugh at myself because I like to chat, but you can always reach out to me. I'm going to be putting coaching packages together in the future, but I don't like to work with a lot of people at once. So I only take on like 2 to 3 clients at a time. That's it. Because I give you my full wholehearted attention. And I can tell you this, if you do coaching with me, I don't coach you so that you can stay with me for the rest of your life. I coach you so that you learn how to do this work on your own. That's the intent. And I've had coaches who have been with me for maybe 5 months. They're good, they go, and then they might come back for a little bit more. But other than that, they typically have the tools they need to support themselves through these processes. Okay. So spiritandbrew@gmail.com. My website should be coming up soon. I'm working on getting that up and running. You guys can look at those packages. And then hopefully, and maybe you'll have a time to come on here and we can do just a free one, but don't be afraid to share it. If you are, we could chat offline. So love and light. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I love you guys so much. I just want you to know that I really do. Praying for you and your families, and have a beautiful, magnetic, magical, marvelous, I don't know what other M word to use, Monday. And I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.